What's good, everybody? It's your brother New Breed coming through with another live stream. Pound that like button on your way in. Motivational Monday. Look kind of dark in here, but it's all good. Chosen ones. You got to move in wisdom. It's crunch time. Oh, yeah. The kingdom is at hand. We living in those days. It's getting real critical out here. It's important that you are aware of everyone around you. It's important that you exercise observation every single day. It's important that you're careful not to corrupt yourself with evil communication. It's important that it's forward progress from here on out. And there's a few things you chosen ones got to keep in mind. Number one, no matter how many times a snake sheds its skin, it's still a snake. Some of you all are going to lose a lot of traction, and you're going to lose a lot of ground that you covered. For the simple fact of the matter, you keep letting people back in your life. You keep allowing them to come back in like it's a revolving door. Not understanding that people can change on the exterior. They can act a certain way. They can portray an image just to weasel their way back in. Don't allow them back in, ladies and gentlemen. That will be your detriment. Once a snake, always a snake. Understand that. When somebody literally betrays you, I'm talking about, does the unspeakable, the unthinkable cost you lots of resources, cost you lots of pain, lots of anguish. Listen, there's no way that you should just be letting them back in your life. That shouldn't be happening. And I'm telling you this for a reason. And I know this message is going to permeate for a whole lot of people, because you're living in that time where people who crossed a lot of the chosen ones, they want back in. But you need to understand the reason that they want back in is not what you think. A lot of these people had ample opportunity to right their wrongs while they were doing you dirty. Ladies and gentlemen, they had all the opportunity in the world, all the chances in the world to right their wrongs while you were suffering, while you were hurting, while they were causing you a great deal of emotional distress and trauma. It'll be the same people who was causing you all this trauma when they're left with no choice. That's when they want to humble themselves. That's when they want to come back in your life. That's when they want to recognize the error of their ways, when they're left with no choice. And a lot of those people are doing that out of the spirit of opportunism. They see an opportunity to up themselves through your life. Why? Because the Lord's blessing you. Why? Because you chosen ones have survived a lot of things. Why? Because you have made it through the muck and the mire. You have been through the pain and the trauma, and you came out on top. A lot of you chosen ones wasn't supposed to make it, but nonetheless you did. And those around you all of a sudden see the light. Ladies and gentlemen, do not let them back in your lives. You have to move in wisdom. They will destroy you. Do you understand that? The same way you leveled up getting certain people out of your life It's the same way that you can fall back into your same devices, fall back into your same disparagements and hindrances if you let them back in your life. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the Bible tells us clear as day. If you love mother, father, sister, brother, auntie, baby mama, baby daddy, day one, homeboy, homegirl, best friend, if you love them more than me, you are not worthy of me. You got to understand everybody is not meant to go where you're going. They're just not meant to go. And if you put them on some type of pedestal and you are a respecter of persons and you allow love bombing, you allow flattery to basically allow people to continue to cause mischief in your life. Why? Because they make you feel a certain way, but you're not thinking with logic. You're not thinking with where you came from, what they showed you. When they showed you those horns, the lessons you learned during that. The Lord is looking at you like, I dare you. Allow the punishment I used against you right back in your life. It was a punishment as well as a teaching mechanism. I dare you go backwards after I delivered you from someone who could have cost you your life. It could have cost you your life, your livelihood, everything. Everything. There's some things that people have done to you chosen ones that's unpardonable, but y'all have some big hearts. Y'all have some huge hearts, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous to be so forgiving, to be so loving, to the point where you would jeopardize your entire future. Let me make this clear. There's some people that's placed in this world that's meant to be an adversary. They'll be used by the enemy. They can come in the form of your baby mama, your baby daddy. They can come in the form of your best friend or your alleged best friend. They can come in the form of your mother, your father. You are born to conquer that adversary. There's many mothers out here who don't want to see their daughters happy. There's many fathers out here who don't want to see their sons happy. There's many people who are very vindictive. There's some very evil entities walking this planet. And you got to understand that you are in a war. And you got to be very careful with information, because let me put this out here. There's a lot of people out here who are plotting on the chosen. They're plotting. They want to see you at the very bottom. They want to see that all of this truth that you learned, they want to see it fail. They want to see it fail you. I'm here to give you the harsh reality. A lot of people are not rooting for you, chosen ones. You're few and far in between. I've been telling you this for years, that a lot of people are really not down for you. They really don't have your best interests at heart. On top of that, you have to look at information and what you know. You have to look at that as the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. See, a lot of chosen ones, you have purpose and you know where you're going. The Lord has given you direction. The scriptures say the righteous steps are ordered. The steps of a righteous man are ordered. So the Lord has given you direction. You know where you're going. But here's where a lot of the chosen go wrong and end up getting sniped out of their future. You're telling people your next move. You're telling people what's to come. You're telling people the moves you're going to make, your goals, your ambitions, your dreams. Let me make this very clear. When you know that you're going a certain direction and there's certain things developing, you got to understand, you holding that to yourself is literally reserving your future. Because there's so many people out here with dark prayers. There's so many people out here who would take that information and try their best to sabotage what you got coming. And you thinking that it's a friendship, a bond, and you thinking that because there's some familiarity there. Some of you all, people have done you like just totally treacherous. They dealt with you treacherously. And you will still give certain information. Why? Because that spirit of familiarity. You feel comfortable. Not even understanding that person is getting that information and they're saying, how can I use this against them? How can I stop this? And some people like, why would people even think like that, Bree? Why? Because you can bet your bottom dollar, as much as the world has been given over to the hands of the wicked are those close to you a lot of the times. And you can't fathom thinking that way. And it's difficult for us to even place ourselves in the mind of a person who would think like that. Wow, I see this person making strides. I see this person putting in effort. I see this person becoming a better person. I see this person excelling in life. And they just told me something they got going on. I'm going to see how I can put a stumbling block. I'm going to see how I can cause this person as much pain and anguish. I want to be a hurdle for this person. It's hard to wrap your mind around that, but this is how people look at it. Why? Because it's jealousy. It's jealousy. They're jealous of your strength. They're jealous of your resolve. They're jealous of your relationship with the Creator. They can even be jealous of another relationship that you got going on with a person, and they're not telling you that. You'd be surprised. It's some real demonic people out here. There's some people out here, you could be friends with one person and you think y'all all are friends, but really they in competition to be your best friend. So they're looking at that other person like a threat. They need to be taken out. This is literally how emotionally codependent people have become in this system. Why? Because they don't have the Most High. See, unlike them, chosen ones can stand alone. We don't need nobody in our circle. We don't need anybody but the Creator, but the Almighty. But unfortunately, there's people out here who seriously need to embody the very essence of a chosen one, of a person who bear the light. You must hold information like the FBI and the CIA withhold information. Because bet your bottom dollar, they'll throw a roadblock, they'll throw a hindrance. And this is why, even with this truth, and there's so many things developing right now, and I like to give people updates on what's being developed, what's happening, but you're going to see a footprint very soon. You're going to see what the Most High is doing. I can no longer give you too many updates, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because bet your bottom dollar, as I speak and say certain things online, you know what's going to happen? The enemy is going to get riled up to find out ways that they can combat progress, because that's what it's all about, stopping progress. So you're going to start seeing certain things happen. You're going to see certain things take place. And then we'll go from there. And this is how you got to move in life in general, man. You cannot tell people your ins and outs, your whereabouts, how you move, what you fitting to do. Why? Because everybody don't want to see you win. They looking at it like, I ain't never did that before. You plan on doing what? Man, that's interesting. What gave you that idea? And then not to mention, you have people who are negative. Some people are outright negative. As soon as you tell people your moves and how you plan to maneuver, they automatically cast judgment. They give disparaging comments. They're trying to stop you from progressing. Not understanding that the moves you make, ladies and gentlemen, are supposed to be out of wisdom. It's supposed to be out of wisdom, meaning the Most High have already ordered those steps, and you already know that's the direction you're going. So you're telling people what you got going on, and you thinking that that's going to give you some type of positive reinforcement, when the reinforcement that you already had was from the Most High when you prayed about it. When you had that feeling like, I know which direction I'm going with this. When that idea came and the Most High sparked that brand, and you initially started making steps towards it, that's all the validation you needed. You didn't need no validation from your friends and family. The Almighty spoke directly to you. You should be honored that he talked directly to you and gave you a direction to go. You don't need validation from everybody else. You don't need somebody to sit there and say that they're proud of you. You don't need that. Only thing you need to do is make the moves you need to make, because a lot of times you're looking for someone to say that they're proud of you, that's really what it is. Because let me explain something to you. The children of Israel are like the child that, how do I put this? The chosen ones are like the neglected children. We've been neglected in society. A lot of times we've been neglected in our families. We've been deserted and abandoned. We've been downtrodden. We've been isolated, ostracized, casted out. The Lord chose it to be that way. And there's something in us that's like, yo, I just want people to be proud of me, because a lot of you never really got that. Why? Because those that were close to you, a lot of the times, they showed you a sense of coldness. It was a callous behavior. Even some of y'all as children never really got that warm embrace that everybody else got. So now that the Most High have shown who you are through your footsteps, because a lot of people say they chosen ones, but you ain't chosen unless you're doing the will of the Father. Many are called, few are chosen. But through your footprints and what you're doing in life, and I mean, some of you brothers and sisters are breaking generational curses as we speak. Some of you all have broke the curse of addiction. Some of you all have gotten out of the streets and gotten jobs and actually working. Some of you all came from fatherless households, and now you're an excellent father. Or you came from a household where your mom wasn't there for you like a mother should have been there for you, but now you're an excellent mother. That's breaking generational curses. That's the mark of a chosen one. The mark of a chosen one, that's what you do. You break curses. But now that they see that footprint, there's a lot of jealousy and a lot of envy. And since you did these things, you want the same people who cost you the most harm, you want those same people to validate you. You want those same people to be proud of you. You might as well get that out of your head. This is why you're supposed to have your relationship with the Father. This is why you need a relationship with the Creator. Because he's going to give you all the validation you need. He's going to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside like nobody else could. He's going to make you feel as if you have accomplished your goal. Trust me when I tell you this. That's why, a lot of times personally, I don't get all excited about validation. Why? Because I'm being validated by the Creator. I know my shortcomings. I know my faults. I know my flaws. But I also know my accomplishments and my wins. I know when there's a dub. Why? Because the Most High validates me that's a dub right there. It don't have to come from others. Only thing I want people to do is see the footprint and follow the path, follow the trail. Because that's what chosen ones, this is our goal, to make sure the people are in right standings. Because we have big hearts. But there's some people that don't belong on your trail. Listen, snakes can see the greatness in you too. Brothers and sisters. Witches and warlocks and demons and Jezebels, they can see the greatness in you too. They can see the potential in you. Don't be dismayed by they mean mugs and they cold stares. Don't be frightened by the hatred that they show you. Don't be deceived by how they act towards you. They know who you are. They know. Let me tell you, they view you as a threat. This is why you got to keep your information to yourself. They view you as a threat. Somebody said, tired of these neighbors with those campaigns, those noise campaigns, and people speeding past every time I'm online. Yeah, this is something that we got to deal with as chosen ones. These noise campaigns and all kind of nonsense. That's just because they know that you chosen. Let me make this clear. Righteous ones. You're not supposed to be comfortable in this society. You're supposed to be uncomfortable. Why? Because you're supposed to have your own. You're supposed to have your own everything. Some of you all may feel like you never fit in society. No matter where you go, you just feel like you on the island all by yourself. Why do you think that is? The Lord created you that way because you don't belong there. You may go to, even when you was in daycare as a child, when you was in high school, junior high school, when you go out in social gatherings and functions, when you go to restaurants, when you go, no matter where you go, you always felt like, I don't feel welcome here. That's because the Most High has something great for you. He doesn't want you to be comfortable here on this earth. Listen, the 2/3 are enjoying heaven on earth. This is their heaven. The wicked are enjoying heaven on this earth. You're not meant to enjoy it right now. I'm not telling you not to enjoy life. Hear what I'm saying. You're not meant to be comfortable in a land that's fallen. You're not meant to be comfortable in a world that's demonic and evil and wicked. You're not meant to be comfortable. And the demons that's in people know that. When they see you, they can see that there's something different about you. There's a certain glow, and it's not on the exterior. It's not on the outside of you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is spiritual. It's not because you think you cute. It's not because you think you look a certain way. No, it's in the fiber of your being. It's who you are. It's your spirit. The book of Jeremiah says, I have knew thee before you were formed in your mother's belly. I knew you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. You were chosen. You are like an alien to this planet. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, you are like an alien. You're here to observe the ways of this world. You're here to observe how people communicate, how people move. You are the main character, and you're just watching and you're learning and you're absorbing information to become a better version of yourself. You're also here to learn who you are. You're here to learn who you are. You're here to learn yourself. And therefore, you're going to be doing the will of the Father through your various gifts, talents, and anointings. The Lord has given you fruits. There's fruits of the Spirit. You're literally like earth angels. Seriously. You're not of this world. Your blood is different. Your blood is different. Since you were young, they were testing your DNA. They were trying to get you on ADHD medicine. They were trying to do all of these things to you. Why? Because they didn't understand your fashions. Your fashions are different from the next person. The Lord says, I have anointed a royal priesthood, a peculiar people. You're very peculiar. Because this world is under a demonic spell. This is why I tell you, you must move in wisdom. You're living in a time where you cannot trust many people. A lot of you got to go solo to a great deal if you got to go solo. Some of you all right now know that the Most High is speaking directly to you through this video, that you got to cut certain people off because they're plotting on you. And I don't mean plotting like they're going to close doors of opportunity or plotting, and these things entail with plotting. But I mean, I'm going more drastic with it when I say they're plotting on you. They don't want to see you living. They don't want to see you breathing. They feel like if they can extinguish your light altogether, then they could somehow gain your light. There's some of you brothers that's in the streets right now that want to get out. And, you know, you're being threatened by the same brothers you used to run with. You know, it's deeper than the streets. What is it that they don't want to see you go get a gig and turn your life around? What is it where they feel like you a threat just exiting the street life? What is it? It's spiritual. You're supposed to die with them. You are supposed to be, you know, caught up with in their type of lifestyle and until it takes you out. You're not supposed to wake up and go start a family and go get a job and do the right thing. No, you're supposed to die with them. I'm telling you, you got to move in wisdom. Don't tell people your next move. If you're about to take a trip and you're about to do something great, some of you are going to move across the country. Some of y'all's lives are going to change expeditiously in the next couple years. And you may be telling somebody and you thinking that, all right, man, you next year, you moving where? They're going to make sure you don't get on that plane by next year. They're going to make sure that they can bring as much drama your direction as possible. Some of y'all going to move out of the country in the next year. Everybody around you telling you, no, they ain't the move. Don't go there. Don't do that. The hell with those people. If the Lord already validated something in your spirit, you know what it is. But see, it's a double-edged sword. Because when we talk about moving in wisdom, we're not talking about being stubborn. And we're not talking about not taking sound advice or sound wisdom. We're not talking about a person who is just making unwise decisions. So you got to use your discretion. When I talk about making moves and moving in wisdom, the Lord has already validated what you need to do. Your steps have already been ordered. You know what direction you're going. And ain't nobody can stop it. So use your mind when I say this. Because one thing about it, if you make a move that ain't wise, that ain't validated by the Holy Spirit, that ain't in line with your purpose, then guess what? Just like you ain't listening to nobody, you got to fall on your sword the same way. That's when and guess what? You learn from that. That's what we're moving in wisdom is. But a lot of people wasn't there to see you fall. Why? Because you made that move on your own. Some people out here, I know some brothers that have made moves on their own, but expect people to bail them out. Didn't listen to sound advice. Now, I know this happens before too, even with some of the brethren that I've dealt with, got sound advice, made a move on their own, and then expected somebody to rescue them after they made a move that was unwise. So you got to have wise counsel too. This is why the scriptures say there's no safety when there's no wise counsel. In the multitude of counsel, there's safety. That's why it needs to be men of the Most High around to govern the body. It has to be that way. It will always be that way. The Most High will always have his shepherds who are there to govern the body. Why? Because he gives certain men and women discernment to be able to lead. So you got to know when there's wise counsel among you. You got to know that too. I'm not telling everybody to be individuals and be stubborn and just go out here and do whatever you want to do. That's not what this message is about. I have to make that clear because people hear what they want to hear sometimes. But what I am telling you is, in the midst of your family and friends, a lot of the times, in the midst of your day ones, you got to make moves without telling nobody nothing And you got to stay 10 toes down and stand on business. You got to stand on business. Real talk. Somebody said they're like leeches. They won't go away, new breed. They're so sick. Exactly. They won't go away. And these same people who have caused a lot of you a great deal of harm, they feel almost like they almost feel entitled to come back in your life and cause you drama. They almost feel entitled to come in your life. Like you are supposed to forgive and forget. Now, you can forgive all day, but once a rattlesnake bites you, you ain't finna go play in the bushes and get bit by another damn rattlesnake. That's not finna happen. Some people in life you have to deal with. It is what it is. But you have to deal with them because it's business involved. I understand that. There's business involved. But that don't mean that you have to literally allow them back in your life. That don't mean that you have to be with that person. That don't mean you have to build something with that person. Doesn't mean none of that. It just means you a person who stand on business. And ain't nothing wrong with standing on business. Just like you got a lot of baby mamas and baby daddies out here who, and see, this is where a lot of women get it twisted. They be believing because they got children by a man that somehow that they are entitled to that brother. No, it don't work like that. See, some of these women use children as a pawn. They use the children to play with, you know, to get to that man or whatever the case may be. And some men do it too, but a lot of ladies do this. And they use that as some kind of pawn, like a brother got it. Listen, a real man, if you's a wicked woman and you do a brother wrong, he gonna stand on business and he gonna do what he gotta do as a father, but he's not finna play no games like you're entitled to him because you have children. But y'all ladies got to get that out your mind. That kind of stuff. And, you know, that's just a little side note right there. I don't know who that message is for, but it's for somebody. You brothers out here got to understand there's some conniving sisters out there, but that's another topic for another day. Bottom line, the point I'm trying to make to you, is people will do you all kind of dirty. They won't even give you time. They won't give you time to recover. It's on their time. They won't give you time to say, hey, you know what? The past is the past. And this goes for mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers. No, you just supposed to forget. You're just supposed to let them back in your life. Hell no. And then, here's another thing. The people who do this, right? They never really apologize. Think about that. How many people in y'all's lives, ladies and gentlemen, have done you such ill will, caused you such pain, financial difficulties, losses, anguish, stress, but they almost feel like they're entitled to come back in your life. Why? Because that's your mother. Because that's your father. That's your cousin. That's your sister. That's your brother. But they never came to you personally and said, hey, listen, I apologize for this. And they were truly convicted for what they did and listed what they did to you. They don't do that because the Lord didn't truly show them anything. A lot of them see an opportunity to get back in your life. So that's what they're going to do because they were leeches all along. They never do that, right? Those people are flight risk. Those people are dangerous. Once a snake, always a snake. You bite me, I know who you are. They never apologize. They just feel like they're supposed to come back in. And some of y'all just let them march right back in your life. Well, we got a history together. While listen, the Most High is going to destroy you. That's what's going to happen. The Most High is going to destroy you for that. Why? Because you're not austere enough. You're not bold enough in this truth. You're not ready to be set apart. You're not ready to you stand strong and handle your business. The Most High can't use you. You have just limited the capacity of usage for you in the kingdom. Why? Because you got your heart connected with the world. That's why the Most High say, who can know the heart? The heart is deceitfully wicked. Either your heart going to be on him and his work and his will and fulfilling purpose and leaving a legacy, a dynasty, and doing what the Most High commanded you to do, breaking these generational curses, or your heart going to be with those leeches. That means you're exactly like them. If your heart is with people who, for lack of better terms, try to destroy everything you are, if your heart is with them, you are them. Not only are they your enemies, but you're your own enemy. You're your worst enemy. You allow your lower self to succumb to the plot. I'm telling you, and I can honestly say this, I would not be the man I am today if I ain't cut off a lot of people. I can honestly say that to you. I would not be New Breed Global Truth. I would not be on social media for all of these years standing strong if I didn't let a lot of people go in my life. I'm just being totally honest with you. A lot of people came and went. They come and go like the wind blow. Why? Because you can bet your bottom dollar there's a lot of people out here who are just opportunistic. There's a lot of people with ill will and ill intentions. There's a lot of people with jealousy. There's a lot of people who have so many personal issues they can't take themselves out of the picture. There's a lot of people who don't think for the greater good. And you know what? Those people are not allowed to walk with me. And if I was to allow certain people back in my life, then I couldn't be, the Most High could not use me. Why? Because those people will be my destruction. They will be my detriment. I'm telling you, some of the people in your lives, y'all better leave them. Some of the people that was in your lives, leave them in the past. Leave them there. The scriptures say, can two walk together lest they agree? Now we know what that scripture meant. I broke this down a couple times, and so did Elder Shammai. But again, that scripture was talking about us with the Most High, our relationship with the Most High. If we don't agree with him, how could we walk together? If the Most High says straight up, listen, your enemies will be they of your own household. It's talking about family and friends, those close to you. When the scriptures tell you that friends and family will line you up, literally, if y'all got that scripture shared in the chat, where it tells you that your family will cause you to die. They will cause death. If the scriptures is telling you that, but you're in agreement with a toxic relationship, but you're in agreement with the same people who want to line you up, then how could you walk with the Most High? But the scriptures also, it's a triple entendre to that scripture, because the scriptures also talking about those who are completely in this world, saturated in the world. How y'all going to walk together with non-believers? That's called being unequally yoked. You have to agree on something. Right. Somebody said, God be the glory using you to deliver the message. All praises. Somebody said, the more you are successful on gaining more wisdom and intelligence, your circle becomes smaller. It absolutely does. I wholeheartedly agree with that. The more wisdom you gain, the smaller your circle becomes. That is most definitely true. The more wisdom you gain, the more people refrain from being around you. Some people will just exit stage left. Some people will just depart from your life. Why? Because they know that you can see through them. They know that you can see their intentions. They know that you understand what their motives are. And so they just exit. Somebody said, I stopped going to family gatherings because why eat at a table with people that hate your guts? Don't sit at the table with the ungodly. Right? I feel you on that. And you know the crazy part is some of you all get those invites just so they can have something to talk about. They hate you, but you getting an invite. Why? Why do people who really don't like you or really have real love for you want you around? You ever thought about that? Family or no family, it doesn't matter. If our spirits are not in alignment, especially in this time that we're living in right now, you're a risk. All hell is breaking loose on the earth right now. You got Iran threatening America on U.S. soil. You got their war going on across the sea. You got riots in the streets. You got all kind of wickedness and evil going on in these schools. Pay with your palm. It's here. It's here now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. The mark of the beast is here. They're putting these all over the grocery store. I'm seeing pop up left and right. Pay with your palm. The Bible is jumping off the pages. In these last days, I don't want to be around people that I can't trust. You're living in the time of the NPCs, where everybody is becoming mindless drones out here. AI taking over. I'm hearing that they just hired their first secretary of the state as an AI. So we're talking about they're putting artificial intelligence robots in political positions now. Yeah. Some real life sci-fi stuff is going on in the world. Yes. They put a AI bot in some type of political position, some type of seat in government. There's an AI right now in the seat in government. And people don't want to see. They think we quote unquote conspiracy theorists. Even though it's happening, airing on the news, showing you what's going on. Somebody said, I'm glad I don't have any kids. I don't want to worry about that mess. Right, I understand. I mean, it's a tough world. But if you train up a child in a way you will have them go, they won't depart from the faith. Don't be disparaged. They want you to be disparaged. They don't want you to create life. They don't want you to have children. They want you to be afraid to bring children in the world because these people are all about depopulation. That's what you got to understand. We should want more children because of it. Because that's fighting the war. Living fruitful and multiplying is fighting the world. Somebody said, I like that jacket. Thank you, family. I appreciate it. Somebody said, and let me see, what scripture is that? Is that Sirach right there? Oh, I don't know which one that is. Somebody said, watch who you around too. Right, facts. With all these damn NPCs and you got all these mass shootings going on. Listen, you living in a time where you need to be around people who are like-minded. You got to move very wise these days. If you get any feeling at all that something ain't right, that somebody's energy is off, you need to trust that. This is the type of insight that'll save your life one day. If you're around certain people, if you out in public and you just don't feel something right, listen, follow your instinct. Follow your intuition. The Most High give you natural impulses. Where like, hold on now. Something ain't feeling right. Because you're living in a land where anything is liable to happen at any time. Anything is liable to happen at any time. You got to move in wisdom, chosen ones. There's a lot of people plotting to extinguish and distinguish your light. And you got to think about the fact that the entire time they were causing you harm. They didn't just stop inflicting pain on you. They didn't just stop inflicting pain on you. A lot of you all had to break free. You had to break free and make something of yourselves. A lot of you all had to go through the whole rigmarole and the discomfort of detaching, going through all of those sleepless nights, all those prayers, and getting things right. Never forget the struggle. Never forget the pain that certain people put you through. And remember that. Because they're still the same person. They didn't come to you with an apology. And I mean a real apology, where they listed what they did. They were convicted. Because at any point in time, those people didn't stop hurting you. They would have hurt you until you were dead. If the Lord didn't pull you up by your bootstraps and deliver you from certain situations, ladies and gentlemen, they would have destroyed you until you were no more in existence. You would have been a shell of a man or a shell of a woman when they were done with you. They would have abused you until there was nothing left to abuse. And because the Most High delivered you from a bad situation, some of y'all were in toxic relationships. Because the Most High delivered you from it, you telling me you gonna go back to that? If you go back to a lot of y'all past relationships, y'all gonna get destroyed. And he gonna do it swiftly too. He gonna be like, all right. Think how the Most High feel about that. Think about how the Almighty feel about that. You done detach for certain people. You done gain all this wisdom. Some of you all became successful. All it took was getting a person out of your life, and all of a sudden you became successful. That hindrance was gone. That weight was lifted off your shoulders, and you were able to fly, little birdie, fly. Why tempt the Lord? Why tempt the Most High? That's just like when Christ was in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. That's like when he was in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, and Satan tempted him to jump off a cliff. And he says, thou shalt not tempt the Most High. Yeah, the Most High would rescue me. He might rescue me. But I'm not going to tempt the Most High. Is that what y'all want to do? It's some people that don't belong in your life. They were there so you can learn how to overcome certain obstacles. The fact that you develop and grown from your wickedness is something that you really got to look at, because what's awarded to a wicked man is a wicked woman. What's awarded to a wicked woman is a wicked man. You should be grateful that you left your wickedness and got rid of that person. The reason why y'all separate is because you are no longer wicked. You grown. But if you go back, what are you now? You're wicked as hell. You're wicked. Let me see here. Somebody said, preach, new breed. Yes, sir. Hit the like button. Edification is being spoken. You got to love these words of encouragement. Absolutely. Yes, get the likes up, ladies and gentlemen. We should have well over 1,000 likes. We should have well over 1,000 likes. Let me get up close and personal with y'all, man. Somebody said, in regards, let me see. No, we're not talking about Muslims right now. Somebody said, I remember the night I prayed in Yah to reveal if the woman was right for me or not. Then moments later, her mother pulled the plug on our relationship. I think the Most High, I'll never go back. Very interesting that her mother had the power to pull the plug on the relationship. Isn't that interesting? Because a lot of these women put more respect on their mother than their own man. That's a fact. Somebody said, hey, Bree, have you seen the John Circle interview? No, I have not. What is this dude doing? Okay. I gotta watch my surroundings, right? It says new breed, do you think wearing certain jewelry such as chains, earrings, invite negative spirits? That's really off topic. So I said new breed. How do you feel about a woman cheating 4+ times with no condom and swear she's sorry for it? She's worth keeping to you. No, I don't believe she's worth keeping. That's just my personal opinion. But you're a man. You're a grown man. You use your own discretion. Once a woman I'm dealing with has dealt with another man, that's it for me. That's it. And let's make sure that these questions are in alignment with the topic. Listen, this is what we're talking about right here. I try to come into the chat and see if there's any questions that's being asked pertaining to the topic. And this is what I get sometimes. You know, it's just certain people, man, you got to let go. You got to let them go. And some people would say that you're callous. They'll say you cold. They'll say all kind of things about you. No, it's just that when you stand on certain principles and you have a relationship with the Most High, you just don't worry about people. It's like, and I don't mean in a sense of you don't care about people. What I mean is if people not in alignment with the purpose, with the mission, with the goal, you become very you just become very on point. That's really what it is. You're not really there for the nonsense. One thing about chosen ones, you gotta understand, you can't allow manipulation in your life in the least bit way. One thing about it, you got to get to the point where nobody can manipulate you at all. And you got to understand you live in a world where there's a lot of manipulation going on. It's done subtly, it's done in different ways. Some people are very calculated, meticulous, and you got to understand that you got to be 10 steps ahead of the game. You understand? Yeah, if somebody said for real, you got to watch everything these days. And evil, when you serve God, you have that glow, and people see and want to suck your energy and drain you. They don't care. Absolutely. That is a fact. I'm going to tell you right now, man. I don't care who it is in your life. The Lord is showing some of y'all who needs to be cut off. As I'm speaking to you right now, you know who needs to be cut off. You know who don't belong in your circle. You know who's jealous. And some of y'all got to stop being in secret competition with people. Stop that. Who am I talking to today? I'm talking to somebody. Stop being in secret competition with an enemy that you keep around you. You keep an enemy around you and you're secretly in competition with them. A lot of y'all ladies do that with each other. Some of you brothers do it too. Exactly. Only be in competition with yourself. And understand when you're a person who is only in competition with yourself, it's going to cause a lot of envy. It's going to cause a lot of people to try to align themselves with you and try to compete with you. Not even realizing you only competing with you. You only competing with you. You just trying to be a better version of yourself day in and day out. But there's people who will also try to get in your life, align themselves with you, and try to compete with you, not even knowing you're not competing with nobody. That's why it's no competition. There's no competition. Why? You can't compete with me. I'm not competing with nobody. Somebody say, I hate that. It's so annoying. That's a lot of people out here that like that. Somebody say, I be seeing that at the gym. Exactly. The weight that I may be able to lift ain't the weight that you lift. You know? But if it's my personal best, I'm happy with my personal best. That's how it be. You got so many people in competition. Listen, be happy with what you got, what the Most High gave you. Somebody said, New Breed, this is an unlearned generation. Haven't had many father figures, if any, right? I mean, man, when I think about this generation, the Gen Zs, I'm not even going to lie. And I was never that guy. I was never that guy to talk about the next generation. And, you know, man, we got some issues, y'all. We got some issues. We got some real problems in the future because it seems that attention have become the new currency. That's what I see. This next generation, Gen Zs, it seems like attention is the new currency for them. It's like they're not ambitious when it comes to business or anything. It's like attention is it. If they can get attention, it don't matter. And it's disheartening. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something that I noticed with the Gen Zs. It's like, look, y'all got to get 10 toes down and get on a mission. And it's because there's a lack of the word out there. There's a lack of the foundation. And everybody who's put in front of them as social media personalities that's in their age bracket, they gone. They sellouts. I mean, you got the dude doing a jail show. What is it? Kai Kennel, whatever the dude name is. And you got them doing a prison show, basically making jail seem like the place to go. And you got all these youngins watching that. And mind you, it ain't just our people watching it. It ain't just our people watching it. The Gentile nations watching it and laughing at us. You know how many quote unquote white supremacists and all these kind of people are watching that show, laughing at brothers, laughing at being locked up, trying to make it, trying to make it comedy. And this is the sad part about it. They really want y'all in jail. They really want all you Gen Zs in those orange suits. I don't want to see that happen. But a new breed is coming. That's gonna be a Gen Z that's coming up. I got sons, man. I got sons, man. That's one thing about it. If you think I'm something, think about all of the knowledge and wisdom I'm training them up in. Think about that. And this is how we got to think, fellas. Y'all think I'm something. Wait till y'all get a load of my sons. Y'all not even ready for y'all ain't even ready for what's coming. Let me see. Somebody said, Wendy said, New Breed looking handsome. God bless him. Thank you. I appreciate that. Somebody said, raise them to be leaders. You already know. Somebody said they always have an agenda. There's a reason for everything they do. Real talk. Man, but the bottom line is, man, don't let people back in your life. And on top of that, don't be telling people what you're going to do. Don't tell them your next move. There's some people out here, man, that's fishing for information just to destroy you. There's agents that take your information and bring it right back to the devil. Some of y'all at y'all workplace, y'all feeling comfortable with certain people. Y'all having these conversations with certain people, and they're taking it back to the devil, and they're reporting on your life. I'm going to tell you right now, man, move in wisdom. Silence is your weapon, ladies and gentlemen. Know when to hold them and when to fold them. Know when to remain silent. Listen, even a fool seems wise when they're sparing with their words. That's what the scriptures tell you. So when y'all out and about, some of y'all are very extroverted. Learn how to be silent at times. Learn how to think and observe your surroundings. Stop trying to work the room everywhere you go. Let things happen naturally. Let things come to you that belong there. But it is what it is, brothers and sisters, man. All praises to the Most High. It's been a wonderful stream. It's always an honor building with y'all. I got more content coming. So turn the post notification bell on so you can get these videos as they're being uploaded. Also, if you like to support the content, support me at newbreed.love. All right. The love notes go a long way with helping develop our land. Listen, y'all be safe out here. Y'all have a great one. Shalom and peace.